Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I thank you for your patience. I really appreciate that. Something completely separate from the other issue we had started. And it was like, oh my God, you know? Now, how do I sound? I sound okay. I want to make sure for those of you that are tuning in well after the live stream, maybe you didn't catch me. We tried this once before and we had a major audio malfunction and fail. So I had to restart the stream, but I think everything should sound okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, good. Yeah, that's what happens when you're doing a live stream. You're at the mercy of doing things live and right on the fly. You know what I mean? You don't have time to edit and, you know, package it into a nice sort of shiny gift for you guys. So I do appreciate your patience. Now, before we get to the flashback set photos, which I am going to go over again, I'm going to just try a couple of things and you guys can let me know how it sounds. Everything's okay. Everything's cool, because that's the most important thing here. I can't believe it. Oh my God. For those of you that are tuning in after the fact, it was like comedy gold. I mean, I can only imagine what the chat room must have looked like. Dave! And I'm like, la, 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 la. Anyway, I appreciate your patience nonetheless. And hey, shit happens, right? Okay, let me see here. So, yeah, welcome everybody. It is, Thursday, October the 3rd, 2019. I still have my jacket on, because I had a busy day today and I didn't even take it off when I was trying to figure out all the audio problems. I was like, Hey, it's autumn here. It's fall here in Southern Ontario, in Toronto. The leaves are changing. It was kind of drizzly today with rain. It was about, 14 degrees Celsius. That's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. And it was just the changing. The leaves are falling on my car. And I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. One of my viewers sent this up to me. Oh yeah, folks. This is awesome. I'm going to light this sucker up when it gets closer to Halloween time. Thank you very much, by the way. You know who you are. Okay, so let's do this. All right, I'm going to bring up the images. We're going to look at them together, and I want to make sure that you can still hear me as the images are up. So let's try this now. So I'm going to bring this up here, and let's see if we can do this. Okay, now, do you hear me? I want to know if you hear me. Let's go to this one first, though. Do you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat room if you can hear me. I can hear you. Yes, we are amazing, aren't we? Me, you, everybody in the chat room, we are... God, we're good. Anyway, so... All right, let's look at these images. These images came, I hate the word released, because obviously they were not officially released by Blumhouse or Universal. I guess we could say dropped. I don't know who took these photos. They were probably taken on a phone. I don't know if it was somebody attached to the crew. Probably not, although they are they're in pretty close proximity to snap these. But nonetheless, let's talk about them. So let me zoom up here, and let's see exactly what we're looking at together. Okay, so now the image, of course, zoomed up is going to look a little shittier. But let's look at this together and see what we're looking at. So here we have Michael Myers. Now, this is an image. There's a reason why people think this is a flashback image, and I think they are more than likely correct, and we're going to go over the reasons why and what we're looking at, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on what might be going on here. Might be. I mean, obviously I could be completely wrong, but I'm going to try to, give an educated guess into what could be going on here based on what I see. So, okay, we have Michael Myers. People look at this and they think, okay, that clearly is, or at least it looks like, a fish belly white Michael Myers mask from 1978. Ooh, interesting, isn't it? Fascinating. Okay. If we zoom up a bit more here, I don't want to pixelate the image too much, and we go over to the right, we can see here the camera above Michael's head. And the camera is shooting over Michael's shoulder, above his head, coming downwards behind Michael Myers. This camera is probably an Arri Alexa. It could be a Red, but if I was a betting man, I would say it's probably an Arri Alexa, because that is usually what major motion pictures are shot on nowadays, although a lot of them are shot on the Red as well. But like I said, if I was putting money down, I'd say they were using an Arri, which is just friggin' awesome. So interesting. Okay. We got the camera above Michael coming downwards. What is the camera looking at? What would be the frame? What would be the focus for the camera? Well, obviously over the shoulder of Michael, the back of his head, his ear, right? Just capturing the right side of his face, presumably is what we are looking at. And then, of course, if we zoom out a little bit here, when we go over to the left, we can see the boom operator with the boom mic here. We got somebody from the crew down over here. But if you look right here, there is a little orange pumpkin right there. Just a little orange pumpkin. It's one of those plastic orange pumpkin candy containers that you carry around trick-or-treating that were really popular in the 70s and the 80s, and I think you can still get them today. And there's a better image of that in just a moment, but it's interesting. And the boom operator here is, maybe he's picking up some sound, some stuff they're going to use later in post-production, who knows? But he is definitely set up there to pick up dialogue for sure, because in the next couple of images, that becomes very apparent. In the background here, we have a house with pumpkin, looks like a scarecrow, kind of makeshift, fake, at least it could be a makeshift fake person on the porch there. Who knows? Maybe it actually is somebody sitting there. I don't know. But nonetheless, and the gear and the lights and all that kind of stuff. You got your gaffers, your grips, and whatnot, all that boring shit you guys probably don't care about. But nonetheless, okay, so when we go to the next image here, which I will go to this image here, this is what really drew people into thinking it was a flashback. Now, before we go over to Michael on the far right, let's go over here to the, actually, you know what? Let's not look at this image. Let's go to this image first. Here's the image I want to tackle first, and then we'll go to that other one. So this is what really made people think, oh, hang on a second here. Okay, this must be from the flashback sequence that they are apparently shooting. And this, as soon as I saw this little kid right here, my first thought was, if this is part of the flashback, which it looks like it is, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, especially if you are a big Halloween fan, to figure that out. It looks like this kid is playing Lonnie Lamb, because Lonnie Lamb in the original Halloween had a red jacket like that, a shirt like that, his hair like that. Obviously, it's not the same kid, the same actor, I mean. But certainly that is who I believe he is portraying. Now, if we look again down here, right in front of Lonnie Lamb, we have the plastic pumpkin container, which is knocked over. I'm assuming it's knocked over, and maybe some candy is, spilled out. We have one of the cameras set up here focusing in on that shot, it looks like. We got a monitor over here. And of course, we got two Haddonfield cops right here. Interesting. Very interesting. And then the boom operator is set up here. You can see the boom mic with the windscreen on it. Clearly over Lonnie Lamb's head, picking up whatever dialogue Lonnie Lamb is saying to these two cops. Interesting. Okay. Interesting stuff. Let's go to the next image. And the next image was this one here, right? Yeah. Okay, let's pull back just a little bit. So the cops are gone. At least they're not in frame anyway, at least from this particular shot. But nonetheless, what's interesting about this is Lonnie Lamb is clearly looking at Michael Myers. Now, a lot of people looked at this and were like, oh my God, that's not James Jude Courtney. That's not Nick Castle. Who is that? Oh my God, is he playing Tony Moran? Do they want like a younger face for Tony Moran? Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm certainly hoping that Michael is not unmasked at any given point. What is probably happening here, just taking sort of an educated guess, would be that this is there's two things. They may have, for the flashbacks, they may have gone with somebody younger because of posture, because of younger hands, perhaps. Because look where the camera is set up here. If we go to the right over here, and this is pure speculation, of course, but the camera operator is here. And the camera is set up just behind sort of Michael's ass here. It sort of looks like he's in frame to pick up maybe his hand. I mean, maybe it's possible they wanted a younger looking hand. I don't know. This could just also be a stand-in as well, just to get the back of the jumpsuit. Maybe Nick and James were not needed because Michael was not going to be walking. He was not going to be moving. We were not going to get Michael in any sort of chase scene or motion. So it was unnecessary maybe for Nick or James to be on set. And this gentleman stepped in, and he's not wearing the mask, not because Michael is unmasked or at any point is unmasked, but maybe, and this happens all the time as well, because of where the camera is situated, we're not getting your head. And we're not getting your face, and, you know, the mask is hot, and why don't you just take it off because it's unnecessary to wear it in a scene that clearly is not going to capture anything above your ass. So, you know, that could also be what's happening there, because if you remember back to this image here, clearly, look where the camera is, right? The camera is above Michael here, shooting down on his shoulder behind his mask. This is a shot where you would want your character, or have to have your character, I should say, wearing the mask. Now, again, this doesn't appear to be James or Nick, but it might be unnecessary to be those two for the couple of reasons that I already mentioned. So let's go back to the other image, which is this one here. And we go over here to, once again, Lonnie Lamb right here. And the boom mic is above his face. It's angled correctly. That's how you angle it, folks. For you audio guys out there, that's right on the money. You don't want it right over his head. You want it right like that. It's coming down on that angle, just like that. But anyway, so Lonnie, it you know, looks like he's looking at the shape, right? There's a couple of cameras set up. We got a camera here. We got a camera on Lonnie, a camera on the shape. Obviously, it's probably a 2 or 3 camera setup. That's pretty standard for something like this. And Lonnie looks like he has a run-in with Michael Myers. So really interesting to say the least. So let's go back to me. Okay, there I am. It's me. Let me bring up you guys now. There you guys are, and there is me, and we are back. Okay, so my thought behind this, by what we were looking at, is I remember when do you remember a couple of days ago when I uploaded a video on my thoughts on the other images that were released? And I gave sort of some scenarios of what could be happening in the flashback. And one of the things that I mentioned was utilizing Lonnie Lamb. Because, as I mentioned in that video, you know, he's a character that after we see him leave Tommy Doyle at the school, we don't see him again until... you know, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there, right? And then he runs away and we don't see him again. So, I mean, if I was in the writer's room and I was thinking about doing a flashback and what could we do, you know, what could we utilize that feels organic, that you know, looks, you know, that looks like something we could do. Lonnie Lamb is, I understand that his son was in the first movie and his character is going to be in this movie, but he is a character out of all the characters from that first movie that you could squeeze in a run-in with Michael Myers. Do I think it's a good idea? I don't know. But it looks like that's what's happening here, that maybe after Lonnie Lamb and his buddies got their asses away from there, maybe they decided to go trick-or-treating. And maybe he had a fallout with his buddies and he got into a little fight or something like that. And his candy was knocked over. And he was like, yeah, screw you, Lonnie. Screw you, Richie. You know, or I don't know. And they took off because maybe they got in some sort of argument or something. And he's just sitting there, you know, putting the candy back into his thing. And there's Michael Myers. The problem with this, though, that is interesting. Unless it's after. Again, it could be after he's gotten up and walked away. That's probably where it's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen at any point before he gets shot, because before he gets shot, we pretty much know where Michael Myers is, and where we know where he is at all times. So there really isn't an opportunity for Michael Myers to have a run-in with Lonnie really anytime before he's shot 6 times and falls off the balcony. So maybe it happens afterwards. My worry with that is, again, showing too much. Like, again, we don't know what kind of a flashback this is going to be, or how many of them there is going to be. Is it going to be fully fleshed out, realized scenes, right? 2 or 3 minutes long, where it feels like we're watching a whole other movie for like 2 minutes? Is it going to be just glimpses and echoes, you know, as somebody is giving some exposition and talking, or like, who knows? But I certainly don't want to create all this, you know, more of this thick narrative to go with what happened in 1978. I think if it were me, I'd play it sort of close to the vest. I don't know if I would feel comfortable having like fully fleshed out, realized scenes, you know, because it seems kind of weird to me. Certainly after Michael is shot 6 times. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, but that's what I think is probably going on there. He has some sort of run-in with Michael. I don't think Michael is unmasked. I don't think he doesn't have his mask on. I think the actor just did not have the mask on because it was unnecessary for him to have the mask on, because they weren't getting him in the shot. That is what I think, at the very least. But I could be wrong. Who knows? I mean, maybe we're going to see Lonnie like, hey, take off that mask, man. And he's like, all right. And he takes it off, and that would really suck. But really cool. I mean, it's cool to see that, and to see sort of the process and what they're doing, and just through 3 images try to figure out what's going on. My thought too is, going back to the images, is that when we see those Haddonfield cops, maybe Lonnie is talking to the cops, and the cops are like, hey, you know, kid, did you see a such and such? Did you see a so-and-so? You know, some guy in a white mask and such. And Lonnie's like, yeah, he was standing right there, and he went around the corner or something, right? And that's probably what's going on. Lonnie has a run-in with the Shape. It's not a physical altercation, but it's enough that maybe he bumps into him and he knocks over his candy. Maybe it's Michael that knocks over his candy. Or maybe Lonnie and Richie, and I also forget the other guy's name, have a falling out for whatever reason. Like, why did you get your ass away from there? That old man told me to. Yeah, screw you, Lonnie. You know, I don't know. And they knock over his candy, and he's picking it up, and there's Michael Myers. And then he's like, who are you? Like, are you okay? Because he's got blood or something like that. And then, you know, you hear woo or some of the cops, and then he looks and he sees the cops, you know, and then he looks back and he's gone. And the cops are like, hey, kid. And they kneel down, right? Because it's that getting on that childlike level, right? That hey, kid, right? You know, that's probably what's going on there. I don't know. It's interesting to say the least, but that's my first thought off the top of my head, anyway, of what could be going on. Hey, Jay the Movie Maker, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Says, yeah, that's not unmasked Michael, Tony, and long brown curly hair. If they were to show his face, they would have to make it look like Tony Moran. Well, to a degree. I mean, it doesn't have to look like the spitting image of Tony Moran, but I think he just doesn't have the mask on, like you agreed, because it's unnecessary, because the framing of the shots, they don't need him to have the mask on. And at any given moment, you want your actors to be comfortable, you want them to be able to breathe, and why have the mask on if you don't need it, right? Do you know what I mean? So that's probably, I agree, that's probably what's going on there. A lot of questions coming in. You guys are awesome. Adam Miles says, hey, Dave, was it Lonnie or Richie that ran into Michael by the schoolyard? It was Richie. It was Erwin Yablon's son, Mickey Yablon's, Richie, who ran into Michael by the school. Lonnie is the one with the red jacket. He's the taller one. with the red jacket and the white shirt, the one that we see there in these photos. And if it's not Lonnie, then it's somebody that looks identical to him with the same clothes, at least from those images. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Lonnie, and that makes sense. And although maybe there is more to it, I mean, maybe there is more to it, to Lonnie and that run-in, that maybe it scarred him for the rest of his life. I don't know, right? I mean, we're seeing 3 still frames, 3 still behind-the-scenes images, and I'm just taking a wild guess of what could be going on there based on those 3 shots. But who knows? Maybe there's much more to it. I mean, I don't know. I just get concerned that they're going to have fully fleshed out like 2 or 3 minutes here, 2 or 3 minutes there. Like no, I guess they couldn't do that because then, the movie would be really long. But I just want them to exercise caution, and they're professionals, and I hope they do a great job, but as somebody who likes to keep those things close to the vest, I just get a little worried. I mean, listen, it's always cool, right? The kid in me, the nostalgia. Oh, it's a peek behind the curtain. Wow, more from 1978. But I just, let's play this, the right way, because it's so easy to fuck up at the same time. But it's interesting. It's really interesting. Frank Riker, thanks, Frank, says, any chance of Loomis Force Ghost? Maybe. You never know. Maybe while Lonnie is there. Oh, I see. No, because he would be alive in 1978. A Force Ghost in 2018. Maybe. You never know, Frank. You never know. Sociopath Survivor says, Dave, didn't think it was a bit did I think it was a bit unrealistic that Officer Hawkins was still a cop 40 years later in 2018? Most cops retire in 20 years. He didn't even move up in the ranks. No, I don't think it was unrealistic that he was a cop. I think what they should have done from a stronger storytelling perspective would have been you make Hawkins the sheriff. That makes more sense because that shows his arc, and he's in a position of authority and power, and he can be that Obi-Wan Kenobi type of guy that you look to in terms of the law enforcement. And I mean, who's to say he wasn't 22 years old when he arrested Michael, which would put him at 62. He's quite old to be a cop. I agree. Most cops probably retire long before that, but this is a small town and maybe not a lot goes on. And, the most action that town has seen maybe was in 1978. Maybe there hasn't been a murder since, right? Maybe the most that happens is, I don't know, just people smoking dope or, somebody is, some cat in a tree or something. I mean, maybe that's the most that goes on in Haddonfield, Illinois. And so to be a cop in your 60s to that, is not really a big deal. But he's probably on the verge of retirement. And if you make him the sheriff as well, he's not somebody that is necessarily on the front lines of battle all the time. He shows up, sure. If he needs to go out there, he will. But he's got an arsenal of cops that will go out there and do the work, right? And if he needs to go, he'll go. I think that's a more realistic take for him. And it's too... He was a far more interesting character because Will Patton is a great actor, a great character actor. But you have this useless, no offense to the actor, just the character of Barker was useless. It was just it was useless. I don't understand if maybe he's buddies with David Gordon Green or something. It's like, hey man, you want to be in my movie? Like, I don't know. It didn't serve the story at all to have this cynical sort of almost pretentious sheriff. I didn't like that. I think it would have been much stronger to have Hawkins as the sheriff because Hawkins also knows Laurie and there's that relationship there, not the romantic one, but that relationship there. And I think it would have been better, but nonetheless, really interesting. Wow, 404 people watching. You guys are amazing. Maybe I should do more mid-afternoon, early evening live streams. Jonathan McCullough says, hey Dave, congratulations on your Voice Award nomination. Good luck. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I just found out today, I'm really excited, that I have been nominated for my 4th Voice Arts Award. And it's in the category of Outstanding Body of Work. And that would be the equivalent of like being nominated for Best Picture. Like I am just totally floored by that. And the category is strong. I don't necessarily, I mean, maybe I'll win. I don't know, right? But certainly there are other voice actors nominated that are pretty damn good and have a pretty damn good portfolio. So, but anyway, to be nominated again is just amazing. So the Voice Arts Awards are on November the 17th at Warner Brothers Studios in Hollywood, California. I was there last year, and I'm going to be there again this year. So maybe I'll do a live stream from Warner Brothers. Maybe I might do that. So yeah, thanks so much. It's a real honor and surreal in a lot of ways, to be recognized by your peers in that way. So and to be there at Warner Brothers in Hollywood is just, it's just amazing. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's see here. Chastity Smith says 79. Chastity Smith 79. Is there any chance of Sheriff Brackett coming back to avenge Annie's death? Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. But we haven't heard anything about Charles Cyphers reprising his role. And again, it doesn't mean that between now and the end of shooting that there might be an announcement that he comes back. I don't know. It's entirely possible. But I remember saying to you guys a couple of weeks ago when I was saying that's not confirmation, and JoeBlow.com ran it as if it was. It still has. I mean, he still could be in it, but and don't listen to IMDb. I could put myself on Halloween right now if I wanted to. That's IMDb. Don't listen to IMDb. It's a general thing. Take it with a grain of salt. Okay. Just because Charles Cyphers is listed there doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be in it. There hasn't been any official announcement yet. And there may not be. He's retired. When I talked to him last year at the convention, I wanted to get him on camera for an interview, and he didn't want to do that. And part of the reason why, there's another reason why that's funny, but part of the reason why is because he's retired. He's just like, oh, no, I'm retired now. And he's like 80 years old. So, who knows? Maybe he will, but no, I haven't heard anything yet. I think it would be cool, though. That's a nice story angle. Like, I put that in my concept, right? Kind of have that. It's a nice arc for him that he's sort of been waiting all these years to avenge Annie's death because maybe Annie was his only child or something. You know what I mean? Really cool, nice arc, nice weight to that character, and that would be cool to see him in that way. So that would be cool. Let's see. Did I miss a super chat? I did. I got a couple of them. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Nathan Oswald says, do you think those two cops were Hawkins and Hunt? Ooh, I don't. Okay, well, here's the thing. Not maybe Hunt, but remember, Halloween 2 doesn't exist. So Deputy Hunt was introduced in Halloween 2, 1981. So to have him in Halloween Kills would be, I don't want to say unnecessary. They could introduce him, right? That's somebody you could introduce, and you're just introducing him new now. But I don't think it's necessary. Do I think it's Hawkins? It might be. I would be okay with, like, if you guys, amongst your friends are like, I'm going to put $5 on that. I think that's a good bet. Yeah, that could be Hawkins, but I'm convinced for sure that those two cops who look quite young, right? Young cops on the force just coming up. Maybe this is their first, like, holy shit, like, fuck, the shit's going down, right? And they go up to Lonnie Lamb. Well, no, what the hell am I doing air quotes for? It is Lonnie Lamb, but you know what I mean. It's not the old, the original actor, Lonnie Lamb. And they're like, have you seen him? And blah, blah, blah. Hey, kid, have you seen some guy with a white mask and a jumpsuit? And he was just here. It's like, oh, sorry, kid. And maybe the cop's like, I'll have a Reese's Pieces. Thanks, buddy. Or I don't know, like something like that, right? I think it's something, there's something going on there. What happens before that? What happens after that? I don't know. But that, to me, I think that's a pretty decent guess of what maybe they're shooting there based on those photos. So, yeah, but that's not bad. That's not bad. Frank Riker, thanks, Frank. Will we hear some Blue Oyster Cult? Ooh, maybe. I'd be okay with that. That's a nice, again, that's fan service. But it would have to be, Yeah, like, do you hear it on the radio, or do you hear it within the actual narrative of the movie, maybe? I don't know. Do you know what I think would be cool? Halloween Ends, the next movie. The end credits end with Don't Fear the Reaper. Why not? That'd be awesome. Darren Sands, thank you, Darren. Much appreciated. Check the pic I just sent you. Chris Nelson, shape. Oh, Darren just sent me a photo. Let me see here. Yes, yeah, no sound. Oh, Darren, you're a sweetheart. Tried to let me know. Thanks, buddy. My guess is it's Castle. The body posture is different to the stand, and the belly is okay, let me see this here. It could be, but I think this is probably the same gentleman that was in the photos that I showed you, and that looked like a much younger guy, unless this is a different guy here. Now that is definitely, I would say that is a good. Yeah, that looks like it is Christopher Nelson there. I wish I could bring that up. Maybe I'll try and bring that up for you guys. 1 second. Let me just get this from Darren here. He sent this over to me. And let's get this here. Just 1 second. Gonna go get this. Gonna click on it. Gonna save this image to here. And then I'm gonna bring it up. Okay. Oh, 1 second here. I think we're okay there we are. Okay, I'm going to bring this up. 1 moment, ladies and gents. You guys are awesome. Let me just a lot of up here. Okay, it's this one here. Okay, we're gonna go over. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, yeah, this is the image that Darren just sent over to me. And yes, this definitely is, this guy right here definitely looks like Christopher Nelson or Chris Nelson, who of course is a makeup effects artist, and Academy Award winning, I believe, for Suicide Squad, if I'm not mistaken. And he designed, or helped design, co-designed, I should say, the 2018 Halloween Michael Myers mask. He's largely responsible for it. So this does look like him here, sort of making some adjustments to the collar and to the mask, making sure the hair looks right prior to shooting. And I gotta say, I am very curious to know what mask that is that they are using. I am wondering if it's something that I am really looking forward to just seeing how good they replicate the mask from 1978 and how much of the mask we actually see, because it's entirely possible that, even though they're showing us flashbacks, we might only see glimpses of Michael and the mask. That's what I'm sort of hoping for. I'm really hoping it's not fully fleshed out, fully realized scenes in terms of showing Michael really clearly. But of course, they would have to have a clean mask, even though they might be showing glimpses just for continuity, just in case something sneaks in there. But Darren sent me another message here saying that he thinks the guy is a bit larger. Yeah, I guess he could be. I mean, this absolutely could be not the stand-in. I mean, it's entirely possible, but I'm not buying it yet. I still think it could be the stand-in, because when I go to this image here, I mean, I don't know. I look at the hands. Let me bring up this guy here. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's see here. It's possible. It may not be the same guy. It could be Nick Castle. Maybe it is Nick Castle. I don't know. I think Nick might, and this is no offense to Nick, of course. We all love Nick to death. I think Nick, I would expect a little bit more of a belly, but maybe not. Maybe not. It's hard to say. I mean, the photos are not that great at the end of the day, and really we're grasping at straws when we're trying to analyze a pixelated image close up. So, but thank you for sending that, Darren. And you could be right. You could absolutely right. But one thing we definitely do know is that this guy here, I think, is Christopher Nelson. I think that's a signed, sealed, and delivered sort of thing. So yeah, really cool indeed. Oh, where did you guys go? There you guys are. So interesting though. You know, I am really curious. One thing I am curious about actually is whether or not, because we know in Halloween 2018, the one and only Nick Castle moment was and it was a shot. It wasn't a scene, because remember, scenes are different than shots, right? A scene can be one shot, or a scene can be multiple shots over 2 or 3 minutes. Nick Castle was yes, he was in one scene, I guess, but he was in one shot, very briefly. The moment when Laurie looks up at the window and sees the reflection of Michael in the window, looking at her in the mirror, kind of like a cross angle kind of thing, right? And she shoots him. But the second, I believe, the mirror breaks, it becomes James Jude Courtney. And you'll notice that. It switches. You see Nick kind of like this, and he does the head tilt, and then the glass breaks, and all of a sudden he's kind of like that. I believe I either read or I heard in an interview that was Nick Castle's way of passing the torch to James Jude Courtney. Like in the same moment, in the same shot, in the same edit, it's like 1-2, right? You know what I mean? I thought that was kind of cool. But I'm very curious to know how much. I mean, look, the role belongs to James Jude Courtney. And I think now, having seen Halloween 2018, even though I was not a huge fan of the movie, I thought it was mostly a film of missed opportunities. One thing that I did really enjoy was the portrayal of the Shape. There were many moments I thought he could have been utilized better, but James Jude Courtney's performance as the Shape was, yes, I believed that is the same man from 1978. I believe that, right? And that's important. I need to believe that. I believe that. So he was great. He was the least of the issues I had with the movie. So the role definitely belongs to him. But I'm curious to see if Nick Castle, how much, if any, more he's going to have. I still don't think they're going to give him a fully fleshed out scene. Okay, so I don't think we're going to see, because Nick is a few inches shorter than James, and there's a bit of a different posture there, obviously, right? He's 10 years older. And I think to have a fully fleshed out scene with Nick walking across, I mean, maybe it all depends on light and shadow and camera angles and stuff. You never know. But I would be curious to see if they give him just a little more. Like maybe there's a scene where Nick comes to, a banister, right? And he looks over the railing and tilts his head or something, and then kind of turns like this. And like maybe there's, if his role in, 2018 was, 8.7 seconds long, maybe he gets 30 seconds in this one, right? That would be cool, right? But it's got to be, what's really important as well, and the filmmakers would be aware of this, continuity comes first. So you don't want to, at any given moment, have it really obvious that, oh, that's Nick Castle, that's James Jude Courtney. Do you know what I mean? Even though some fans aren't going to care, you got to put your continuity and your narrative first. And you don't want to have a jump cut where it's like, whoa, he had a belly and now he doesn't. It's like, oh, we don't need that, right? I'm not saying that Nick is fat. He's not fat, but just, a little bit of a belly, right? So it's just important that they keep that continuity there. But I'm all for it. I mean, if they can have Nick in the mask, with a little bit more, that would be cool. 100%. Fan service, absolutely, but it definitely would be cool. Let's see here. The Manhammer AR-15 says, Sir Dave of Toronto, showing the Shape being apprehended by the police would be ridiculous. And if they show us that, smacked with a hard salami. That's right. Yeah, no, I'm hoping they don't show that at all. I'm just going back to see if I missed any super chats. I thought I did. I did. Okay, 1 second, guys. A lot of people in the chat room here. You guys are amazing. Super chats from Rick Michaels. Thank you, Rick. Says, when did they say Lonnie's last name? Alam. I don't remember that. Oh, I believe it was Lori that said it. Lonnie Alam won't get out of the 4th grade, the 5th grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. Yeah. And I think Tommy says it. It says, no, he says, Lonnie said this, said the boogeyman's outside. Lonnie Alam probably won't get out of the 5th grade or whatever it was. Yeah, no, it was mentioned. 100%. Lori, I believe, is the one that says it. Maybe Tommy says it first. I'm not sure. Z or Z for you Americans. Z go RZ Skate 45. Thank you, buddy. Says, Dave, do you like The Devil's Rejects? Rest in peace, Sid Haig. I think The Devil's Rejects is my favorite of the Rob Zombie films. But I don't like Rob Zombie's. I'm just not a big fan of that style of, like, I can watch that style of a horror movie or that style of a movie, you know, every so often. But I'm not into that type of sort of torture, exploitation sort of horror porn, kind of like the shit that he does. I'm just not really into that type of horror. To watch like a Texas Chainsaw, you know, that's really cool, you know, but I'm just not, I don't watch his movies because they just kind of all are the same kind of style and shtick, and I'm just not a big fan of it. But The Devil's Rejects is probably my favorite of his. I would probably say. And then another super chat, I thought, oh, no, maybe not. I thought there was one. Let me just see. Don't want to miss any, guys. No. No. Okay, good. We're good. So, yeah, scrolling down here, a lot of people in the chat room. You guys are amazing. Super chat from Dennis Allegix. Thank you. Says, what's the most underrated mask in the franchise? Underrated mask in the franchise? I think the best mask in the franchise outside of the original, and I include Halloween 2 in that, would probably be Halloween Resurrection. I'm just talking about the mask. I think it's probably the best mask outside of that. Funny enough, as much as the Halloween 4 mask is just atrocious, it's grown on me a lot over the years. There's sometimes I look at it, I'm like, there is something creepy about it in and of itself. The problem is that Halloween 4 has and will always have the tough job of being the direct follow-up to the iconic mask, you know, that you see in part 1 and 2. And so when you watch Halloween 4, it's like, ugh, it's such a drop. But you know, if that mask appeared in some other horror movie that was unrelated to Halloween, it's a creepy mask in and of itself. You know, it's like, oh, that's creepy. Ooh, that's weird seeing that in the fucking middle of the night. You know what I mean? So it's kind of grown on me a bit over the years. I still think 5 is the worst. 5 is a shit show. And I think the H2O mask, you know, and I've come to really love the H18 mask. And that's an independent mask right there. That's not a trick-or-treat one. That's from, I forget now. I forget the name of the mask. Chris Faber, if you're in the chat, you'd know. But anyway, just awesome shit. But, yeah. There was a super chat, I think. Was there? No, that was the one I just answered. Amazing. Yeah. So, all right, we'll go for a little bit longer here. Just wanted to jump on quickly and give you my thoughts on those images because, I don't know, you know, and some people have asked me, they've said, Dave, I thought you hated the 2018 film, so why are you talking about the sequels? And this is what I have to say to that. I didn't hate the 2018 film. I didn't. Okay, because I'm not somebody that works on either end of the spectrum, right? I don't work in extremes. Like, in the world of fandom and movies, we seem to be in a world where there's just extremes. Like, it's either a 10 out of 10 or it's shit, right? And if I was to say, yeah, I thought it was good, so what would you give it? I don't know, like a 7 out of 10, an 8 out of 10? Oh, so you didn't like it. What do you mean? Well, you gave it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, that's good. That's good, that's fine, right? That's how I operate. I gave Halloween 2018 about a C+. And there were a lot of things in there that I didn't agree with creatively. But there was enough in there that I did like And because of that, it made the things I didn't like that much more frustrating. So I didn't hate it. But I'm a Halloween fan. Yes, I'm a Halloween purist. And yes, I love talking about the original and the original intent and all that kind of stuff. But anything Halloween related, I love talking about. And I'm really curious on where they're going to go. And I'm always rooting for them. That's the thing. I don't want them to fail. I don't want them to fail. Look, it's tough making movies, man. And they've gone out there to do the best they possibly can. I may not agree with a lot of the creative decisions they've made, but it's not like they're making them because they want to piss you off. They've made those decisions because they believe in the decisions they've made. That doesn't mean we're going to agree with it, but they believe in it. And I don't know what they're going to do with Halloween Kills or Halloween Ends, but I am pulling for them. I want them to succeed. I want a Halloween movie that I can go, now that was pretty good. Do I believe that I'm going to get one that I'm going to love from top to bottom like the original? No, because this is a sequel to the 2018 film. So now we're playing in this world, you know, in terms of its narrative, in terms of its style, in terms of its execution, and, you know, so there will be probably things in Halloween Kills that I'll be like, I don't agree with that, or I don't agree with that, or, you know, kind of, right? But at the end of the day, I'm really hoping I can walk away and go, but you know what? I like this one a lot better. It's all right. You know, like I'm pulling for at least that for me, right? That's what I'm hoping for me, right? At least that. That I think is a good bar, right? I think that's a good bar, because if we all can go into a movie, into Halloween Kills, going, okay, let's just have our expectations like, okay, if we can walk out going, yeah, okay, all right, okay, yeah, okay, I like this a bit better. Okay, now I'm curious to see, you know, how this is going to end. Then that's good. I'm pulling for them. I'm not one of those people like, you fucking shit. Yeah, it might be, but I don't want them to fail. I want them to succeed. That's what I want, right? It's going to be interesting. I don't know. So I love talking about it and thinking about ideas and looking at photos and kind of, you know, putting my insight into it and what I think maybe is going on. And, you know, it's really cool. And then after this stream is done, for those of you that are tuning in afterwards, I want you guys to comment below and let me know your thoughts and things like that. It's fun. It's fun. We're building a community here, folks. Well, I guess kind of. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, a couple of super chats came in. You guys are awesome. Sweet Tea. Aw, thank you, Sweet Tea. Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Awesome. Thunderknock Studios says, hey Dave, JP here. Yes. Hey buddy, how you doing? I hope all is well. Just wanted to let you know our fan film, Halloween Night, will wrap principal photography this weekend. Ooh, very exciting. Very exciting. Yes, JP has a Halloween fan film coming out very soon called Halloween Night, and it looks pretty darn good. So I'm interested in seeing it. I'm excited for it. Congratulations on wrapping this weekend. It's tough making movies, right? Am I right? I'm fucking right. I know it. It's tough. It's tough, man. So my hat goes off to you. So awesome stuff. I can't wait to see the end result of that. Hunter Hudman, super chat. Thank you, buddy. Do you think they'll kill Laurie Strode? Ooh, in Halloween Kills? No. In Halloween Ends? I don't know. Like in my concept that I have on my channel, I don't know if I should say, I don't know how, I have 400 people watching. That's amazing. I don't know who's listened to that or who's watched it. Let's just say that I wouldn't be afraid to go there. If I was in charge, if I was in the writer's room, or if I was a producer, or if I was, you know, on the creative team, I would say, let's entertain the idea. If it's done, if it doesn't feel shoehorned in, and it feels like like the arc has been completed, right? It feels really organic, like it's really time. Like the story's just been so good. Then yes, because the actors are there to serve the story, not the other way around, right? So, yeah, I don't think you should be afraid to do that. I don't think you should kill her and then bring her back. I don't want to see that. That's crap. But definitely, I am totally okay with them doing that, as long as it feels like, okay, all right. And personally, for me, if you were going to kill Laurie Strode, I think you need to end it with that, with the death of Michael and Laurie, or like whatever the case is. Because although Halloween may go on, as they've often said, I am really hoping that Halloween Ends is the ending of Halloween as we know it. Like in my concept video that I uploaded a couple of months ago, I didn't, like, my concept was just making a sequel to end it there, not doing 2 more, but just 1 more. And my thought was, it's ending Halloween as we know it. That doesn't mean that 20 years from now they reboot it, or they do a TV series, or they go to Netflix. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. But Halloween as we know it, the story connected to the 1978 film, it has to end. It has to end. There's nothing wrong with things ending, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's value in things ending. It has to end. That's where, you know, the arc comes from, and that's what makes it exciting and interesting and moving and emotional, and there's so many cliches I could toss out there, but it's true. So it's, you know, I believe that if they are going to end it, it should be the ending of Halloween as we know it, and it should end, if they're going to kill Laurie, wait until it ends with, that's part of the ending, right? That's part of the ending. You know, don't kill her in the beginning, and then, because it feels a little anticlimactic, right? I think it began with Michael and Laurie. Well, actually it began with Michael and Judith, but, you know, it began with Michael and Laurie. It ends with Michael and Laurie. And in my concept, there's a Judith angle in there as well, for those of you that haven't watch that. I just think it's so important to bring it full circle, to make it feel like there's a connection, like we've come all the way around. That's important. And I'm counting on David Gordon Green and company to recognize the value in that. Don't leave us hanging. Don't have a Halloween resurrection moment where his eyes open and it sounds like a sheep in heat. Don't do that. End it. Pull the trigger. Have the guts to do it. There's value in that. But then again, this is a business. Let's see here. Scroll back. A couple of super chats came in. You guys are amazing. Hunter Hudman. Oh, I already read that one. Marshall Carson. Thank you. For you, Dave, my bro. Thank you, Marshall. You rock, buddy. Marshall. I like that name. You don't hear that name too often. I like that name. Frank Riker. Thank you, Frank. Much appreciated. How years will it take to reboot the series again? How many years? Well, I think it's unnecessary to reboot anytime soon, because you have to ask yourself, can we tell this story any differently now? Like, what? Like, don't end it in 2021 and then in 2025 you reboot it again. I don't get that. I don't know what you do, but I think there is value in letting things sit. Let things simmer. Let things sit for a bit. There's no need to remake Halloween now. It's unnecessary. You know, wait till 2035. Wait 20 years. Wait 30 years. You know, I mean, by that time, how we consume our media will have changed drastically, and we'll probably, you know, be able to be in the movie ourselves, but, you know, through like VR or shit. But I suspect, and I don't know this for a fact, obviously, I suspect that the anthology route has been entertained. Now, I understand that's like, oh, that didn't work in 1982. No, it didn't, because the word anthology wasn't in the pop culture consciousness. But anthology is really embedded into the pop culture consciousness now. And I think that maybe a Halloween TV series, Halloween Netflix or Hulu, I don't know. And I'm not it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. Maybe they explore other things like old Charlie Bowles, or, you know, or something like that. Or, you know, it's an anthology. It's around the Halloween brand, maybe in the Halloween universe, but it's other things, because Michael's story is done. It's done, you know. And if you continue to go on and on and on, like you've heard me say ad nauseum on this channel, you will find yourself right back where you were before you did Halloween 2018, because there's only so much you can do before things become drawn out and tired, and, you know, well, they become shit shows. Shit shows, folks. Shit shows. So I think it's just to let it simmer, right? You've made 3 movies that presumably have done well at the box office. Maybe they were all well received. The story is done. Let it go for a bit, but we shall see. I don't know. Let's see here. Super chat from Jonathan McCullough, just £2. Thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. And I think that is all the super chats. Yes, okay, let's see if we can get some non-super chats. Hey, if I don't answer your question, it's nothing personal, obviously. I mean, we have about 400 people in the chat room, so that is why. So remember, it's never personal, just so many. And of course, as the super chats come in, I have to make a point to answer those for obvious reasons. But nonetheless, let's see here. Let me scroll down. Let's see. Sue Alexander. Hey, Sue, how are you? Says, as I've said about H18, I hope they do it justice. This time around, they have fan reviews to work with, so I hope they will be smart. Well, you never make a movie based on what fans want. But fans can be loud. The horror community is small. And it would be strange if Blumhouse was not aware of some of the criticisms of their movie, Halloween 2018. But that doesn't mean that they're going to suddenly retcon that. Not at all. They have to do the story that they want to do. And it doesn't matter what fans think, right? At the end of the day. So, but maybe there were some certain things that fans did say. I don't know. I mean, there were a lot of people talking about it, and maybe they were like, you know what? Maybe we could do that. I think look, I mean, as much of, anyway, that's a whole other video I could get into there. It's just, I'm about to go on a long diatribe, and I don't want to do that. But anyway, so, no, I mean, it's, they maybe, but it wouldn't necessarily be because fans were angry about something. At least it shouldn't be, because the film did very well. Like, it's not like the movie didn't do well, and it's not like it wasn't really well received, because it was. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? It's a business. It made a lot of money. And even though as a Halloween purist, I might be like, I wouldn't have done that. I think you need to do that, or I think you need to do that. Who cares? It made $250 million. What the fuck cares? If somebody asked me one time, do I think that Blumhouse would ever put me in one of their Halloween films? First of all, number one, Blumhouse doesn't know who the fuck I am. Number two, if they do, I'm pretty sure they'd probably want to put me in there, and they did put me in their movie. They'd want to make sure that I died a miserable death, like full on 100%. Because, I'm very outspoken about the shit that the vast majority of the series is, right? But I'm in good company. John Carpenter thinks the vast of those movies are garbage, and they think the vast majority of those movies are garbage too, or they wouldn't have retconned them all, for goodness sake. So, I'm not, but of course it's a business, and they gotta play the political cinematic rhetoric, as I say, and I completely understand it, but no, not at all. If they ever did, I would be killed in a movie. Let's get that fucking McRae in here and make sure he dies a miserable death. That'd be amazing, actually. I'm all for it. Hey, I'm open. That'd be awesome. Let's see here. Moonlight Silhouette says he grabbed the hacksaw before he proceeded. Yes, and what did he do? I mean, we don't know what Charlie Bowles did, right? He grabbed the hacksaw, and then he proceeded to... Where are we? Oh, it's right over here. He proceeded to what? Did he get naked before he did it? Did he watch some cartoons before he did it? Did he go and get a glass of Kool-Aid before he did it? And he took those packets of Kool-Aid that you had in the 70s and the 80s, and you'd pour it into your little jug, and you'd pour water in it, and you'd stir it around, and then there wasn't enough sugar in it, so you'd get the sugar. Was that what he was doing? I want to know. Old Charlie Bowles, man. And maybe he wasn't that old. I mean, people say, yeah, but I mean, they couldn't do a series or a movie with old Charlie Bowles. He was probably 85. No, I mean, Mr. Riddle was 87. But maybe that's just an affectionate nickname, right? It's like, that old Charlie Bowles, that old Manhammer AR-15, that old Mark Warling, that old Dave McRae. Maybe that's what it was, and really he was only 38. I don't know. Wouldn't it be funny if they actually did a Charlie Ball. But it's fucking awesome. Like, it's scary and like downward. It's like, holy shit. He becomes like iconic Chuck Bowles. Woohoo! And he teams up with Mr. Riddle. Oh, they have a crossover, Mr. Riddle. Hey, he can still watch. It's about all he can do. Yes, Charlie Bowles hacks up people with hacksaws, and Mr. Riddle is his accomplice, but he just sits there and watches. Because that's all he can do. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Funny shit. All right, we'll go for another 5-10 minutes or so, and then I'll call it a day. That's some funny stuff. A couple of super chats came in while I was going off on old Charlie Bowles. Let's see here. Douglas McBride Jr. Thank you, Douglas. Says they definitely should let the series rest after. I agree. You got to have some breathing room, man. Jonathan McCullough, again, thank you very much, Jonathan. Michael doesn't have gunshot wounds in images. Well, it's difficult to see, right? It looks like that. That's true. But it could also be because, just because you see Michael from the perspective of the from the perspective of the crew or somebody on set, doesn't mean that they're going to show all of Michael, right? Like I said, it could just be showing his arm or his hand by his arm. The actors will always get fully in their gear when they are shooting things like that. So it's possible that we might not even see the front of him. So there's no need to do that. Or we just, because of the shitty quality of the photos, we can't really tell. If he was to actually turn and face us, we might be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. Who knows, right? It's difficult to tell from those photos alone. Let's see here. W Miola 3, thank you very much. Three Finger Michael, you think it will affect him? Oh, yes, I think you will. I think we'll be drawn to that. I think Michael will go to pick up something and maybe he'll pick it up, but he'll drop it. And then he'll pick it up again in his other hand or something to that. Like, maybe that's the extent. I don't think they're going to draw real attention to it because it can become comical very quickly. And you don't want that. So I think at the end of the day, they may draw attention to the fact that he tries to pick up a knife, but he can't because he's like, oh shit, yeah, my hand. And then he picks up the other, and then that's it. It's not even an issue for the rest of the movie. That's what I think is probably going to happen if they decide to draw attention to it. They don't need to draw attention to it at the end of the day. They don't even need to have him going to pick up a knife. Oh, I can't pick it up. They don't need to do that. It's unnecessary. But that's what I think. If they were going to show something to that regard. Let's see here. A lot of people. Mike Warner, Three Finger Michael. He can still put two. You're funny, buddy. Let's see here. Chris says if they're not going to shoot any head-on shots of his body, there's no need to put the bullet holes in the jumpsuit. That's what I was just saying. That's right. Like, you see from this perspective, you see him in the getup, but it's not necessarily that they're shooting him from all angles full on, right? And also in many cases, sometimes it helps the performer as well. There's many times where the actor might get into full gear, or you might see them, but they're not shooting him, they're shooting the person they're talking to, but it helps the other person's performance to be able to see the other actor in whatever costume or get up it is. That happens as well. I'm not saying that's what's going on there, but there's a number of things that could be happening. Froze, and we're back. It's all right. We're back, folks. We're back. We are back. Just froze there a little bit. That's what happens when you have a live stream going sometimes. But yeah, again, to recap before I go, because I'm going to get off here now, is I believe, just based on these three images, definitely a flashback. Lonnie Alam is involved. We see the pumpkin container tipped over with candy. The two cops kneeling beside him. My guess is Lonnie has had some sort of run-in with the Shape. The Shape either, maybe it's like a Halloween 2 thing where he's running and he bumps into the Shape. Who knows? Knocks over his candy. He looks up. Who are you? What's going on? Michael is there. The cops come over. The Shape is gone. Hey, kid, did you see a such and such? We're looking for such and such. Yeah, I saw him. He was, maybe that's the extent of his run-in. But then again, that doesn't seem like something that would cause major trauma for somebody like Lonnie Lamb. Do you know what I mean? So maybe there's more to it than that. I'm just hoping we don't see it, because I like if there is more to it than that, and he does have some sort of tragic, unfortunate run-in with the Shape that we don't know about, leave it to the imagination. Maybe show glimpses of Lonnie about to have that experience, but leave it to more the imagination of what actually happens, and just maybe cut to the actor who's portraying him sort of talking about that. That's what I think would be the strongest for me at that moment. But so that's what I think is going on there. And or maybe Lonnie has had a falling out with his friends, and they knocked over his candy, and Richie ran off, and whatever the fuck is going, I don't know. And then he looks up as he's trying to put candy, and there's the Shape. Or I'm completely wrong, and that's not what's going on, and I don't know. But I suspect, I'll leave you with this. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I suspect, even though I don't know how they're going to do it, I suspect this is, even though some people have pointed out we don't see from that angle, at the very least, any bullet holes in him, I suspect this is after he's been shot 6 times, because at least off the top of my head, I can't think of any moment that Lonnie would have had a run-in with the Shape at night in 1978 before he was shot, because if you watch that movie, we know where the Shape is at all times, unless when he was killing Annie, Bob, and Linda, he excused himself to go get some milk at the convenience store or something. I don't know. But we know where he is at all times. He's across the street at that house. So I don't think it would be before that. At least it would seem strange to me. So, yeah, those are my thoughts anyway. My preliminary, well, no, I guess those weren't really preliminary thoughts. It's about as much as you could take it from those 3 images, right? Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Thank you for tuning in live. You guys are amazing. We had like 415 people watching. Maybe I should do more of these streams earlier in the day if I can swing it, because it seems like more people tune in. I always thought more people would tune in the evening because you're off work, but maybe you guys are tuning in while you're at work. Ooh, yeah, I'm not doing any work, bitches. Fuck you, boss. Anyway, if you're watching after the live feed, comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you guys want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time, and I'm not posting here. All my links are in the description. They're all down there. Check them out until your heart's content. And so in the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you guys soon. You guys are amazing. Did somebody freeze? I didn't freeze. I'm still here, right? Am I still here? Oh, I did freeze. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm back. I'm back. I thought I froze, but I'm back. All right, there we go. Yeah. Stupid fucking internet. Goddamn internet. And I have the fastest money can buy. What are you going to do, right? Technology. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Happy Halloween. Oh, don't worry. You'll hear from me again before Halloween.